So we've been launched for about a week. There's 6 videos. I've got 7 subscribers, less than 200 views across those 6 videos. And while I want to be disappointed and go, man, I wish things were taken off a little bit more, I heard something from an old mentor today that reminded me that, no, I'm good. I'm good. Give it time. It only took me about 2 decades of filmmaking experience to realize I don't actually have to be the one manning the camera. I can literally hand it to my dad, my mom, strangers at the beach, and say, hey, film me this way, let's do it. It looks beautiful. It's because I know the right lens, I know the right settings, I know how to teach somebody how to use it in about 2 minutes. And everything I just described to you, you can learn in like 45 minutes. This isn't a film school. This is learning just the tiny little bit to make sure that you elevate your content, give it that cinematic quality that helps people essentially just emotionally connect to you and your program. So first of all, I realized today that I'm basically both coach and student, right? I'm coach and client. I'm my only client. And it's an interesting position to be in. In fact, I'm kind of like the guinea pig. I'm like all three. I'm like the coach, the client, and the guinea pig because I'm doing this for the first time. It's basically a scientific experiment. It's a hypothesis. In my opinion, teaching somebody like a coach who needs to connect emotionally with their ideal client, teaching them how to get cinematic content from the people around them in their everyday life, and helping them arrange that cinematic content with longer form monologues that look beautiful, strategically placing a little bit of music, maybe some testimony that we get that's extremely high quality, and weaving these into highlight films and even an annual feature length kind of video sales letter, you could put it. Like it's a hypothesis that this is going to work, I guess is what I'm saying, but it's a damn good one, if I do say so myself. I've already proven that I can get amazing B-roll from my family members, from people, strangers walking down the beach. So I think this is going to work. That being said, as a client or as somebody following this method and only seeing a little bit of results so far. The very first video I got like immediately a couple subscribers, opt-ins on the website, 2 of them. Since then, I haven't had a single opt-in on the website. So it's like, man, as much as I know this is going to take time, it's still disappointing to upload and only get a few views. And barely anybody going to the website, and then people go to the website and they don't opt into this amazing free training that I have. It is a little disappointing. But this is how it goes. This is how compounding things go. It's like, do you go invest money and then expect there to be a ton of money if you like invest in index funds or something? The next month, the next week? No, of course not. Of course not. Do you go to the gym and start working out and expect to see results within days or weeks? Nope. But you're putting in the reps, you're putting in the time, and you'll see the results eventually. And I know that it's just like, it's an interesting place to be where I'm proving this concept for myself, and I almost have to get beyond my own self-doubt. And, even though I know this is going to take time, in fact, I heard that it could take up to 30 videos or even 50 for YouTube to sort of understand who you're speaking to, who wants to listen to you, and show you to those people. So right now, I'm just giving YouTube the data it needs to find coaches out there like yourself who go, wow, this is actually really beautiful footage. I wonder if I had that kind of footage and that kind of production quality on my videos, would that help me connect with people? Would that drive more business? Could I serve more people? And the answer is, I think so. We'll see, huh? But the fact that you're here listening to me Well, sort of proof in itself. Now, I'll tell you, I have an old mentor of mine, a business coach. I was in one of his programs. His name's Yuri, and he's, the channel is called Healthpreneur. Now, if you go to this channel, you'll see that this guy has 27,000 subscribers. He's been making videos for consistently, really high quality business advice. He does have a specific ideal client, health professionals, successful health professionals. So he's speaking directly to that ideal client. And anyway, 27,000 subscribers. I noticed that even though his videos, I get a lot out of them, I think they're amazing, they sometimes don't even crack 1,000 views. He might get 600 on a video. And I'm thinking, man, that's crazy. That's so low. But you know what he said recently on one of these videos? That in the past 2 years, they've driven like over $20 million in sales from that YouTube channel alone. That's right, that YouTube channel that gets as little as 600 views, like yesterday, the one he posted. I mean, I'm talking like today, it's only getting a few hundred views at a time, maybe 1,000. So how does he make $20 million? And it's because he's serving people at a very high level. His audience is not your average, YouTube listener. His audience is very specific, and they are people that, have enough money to invest in his programs, which are high-ticket programs, obviously. So the numbers when it comes to Yuri, phenomenal. Less than 1,000 views on videos, $20 million over the past couple years. It makes me realize that, yeah, exactly. It's not about a ton of views. It's about who those views are. If I'm speaking to you right now and you're an entrepreneur, you're a coach of some kind, and you see the value in this offer and this partnership, you're my person. I don't need hundreds of views. I need you to come check out the training video, look at the website, see the offer, and go, wow, this actually is the right fit for me. I think, let me reach out to Nico and ask him. How many views is it going to take before I get somebody to do that? I don't know. But you have to understand that just because I'm not getting a lot of views, and I have to understand this, it's not that big of a deal. By the way, if you're here right now, you're probably finding this content interesting or useful. I'm letting you know I'm going to give you some of this philosophy, kind of these check-ins sometimes. I'm also going to be just teaching you practical stuff. So I suggest hitting subscribe so YouTube knows that you want to hear from me again. So yeah, I have to kind of coach myself at this point and just say, hey, Nico, just stick to the plan, stick to the method, the origin method. Post your video each day. Serve the clients. Serve people. Which is actually, something I've realized. So I made this highlight film of the first 5 videos and released it. But as I was watching each monologue, I realized that my first few videos were essentially kind of like me journaling the launch of this business and really like explaining the iterations of all the ideas I'm going through and how things are changing. And they continue to evolve. But I realized that it's interesting, it's cool. Those videos are great. But I also need to be teaching and helping and serving these people I want to work with. And so I'm going to start to sprinkle in some more educational videos, maybe some shorter videos, alongside kind of these check-ins, these more philosophy, these more kind of big picture things. And that's kind of who I am. I like musing like this. I like conversing with this camera. I like talking about my thoughts. But I also know that I really can just simplify concepts and give you like a new tool that you'll have in your tool belt when you want to go out there and film something. So the one thing that I'm doing that's unique that I'm not exactly going to recommend my clients do is I'm running the origin method daily instead of weekly. So exactly how long I'm going to do this, I don't know. I'm contemplating doing it for the full year's worth of content, which would be roughly 65 days. Because every month you're going to have a highlight film, and basically I'm running these, in a certain way where I'm going to be doing all 52 weeks plus the 12 highlight films, plus the annual film. I want to do those every day for the next 65 days. That's my secret goal that I just publicized. That means I run the whole annual method that I'm going to recommend my clients do, assuming that this works, as quickly as I reasonably can, 65 days. So I'm already learning that because I'm basically sprinting, I'm learning things that I otherwise would have taken me weeks or months to figure out. I'm already learning within a couple weeks. Oh, I need to adjust this way. Oh, this can go here. Oh, I already need to change all my copy on my website because I realized there's a different way to present this. It's not so much the 90 minutes a week. For a moment, it was like the process itself that I thought was the selling point. And then I realized that's a benefit, that's a feature, that's awesome. But really, the ideal client that I'm looking for is somebody that sees the footage, sees the B-roll footage, the cinematic music, these opening cinematic hooks, and goes, wow, that's pretty cool. I could probably use that for my content. And that it would fit. The aesthetic fits your content. It fits your ideal client. And you need that emotional connection with whoever you're working with. Now, presumably, I need to emotionally connect with the coaches that are going to be using the origin method. And so that's kind of why this whole thing is this weird meta experiment that, in a way just kind of is the snake eating its tail kind of thing. One of the things I've realized already by, doing so many of these and then editing them and listening to them and going, okay, are these good? Are these helpful? Is I realized, and I don't blame myself, because I'm launching this business as we speak. Of course I'm going to be journaling. Of course I'm going to feel a little bit dramatic and like, hey, I'm doing something and these kinds of things. But I realized, I forgot something that StoryBrand taught me, Don Miller. If you don't know Don Miller and StoryBrand, go check him out. It's a brilliant, he's a brilliant storyteller that is also a business person. And so he understands that entrepreneurs need to position themselves not as the hero, but as the guide. Your clients are the hero. And so the first few videos of this channel were more me kind of being the hero, talking about me, talking about starting this business and what I think I'm going to do and all these dreams and the challenge and all this stuff. And, some people thought they were interesting and watched them. But I'm going to start shifting a little bit into remembering, thank you StoryBrand, that I'm the guide here. And I am the guide. But it's kind of weird. And this is kind of the coaching student thing. It's like we're constantly being both the guide and the hero in our own story, right? In our own lives. And anyway, I'm hoping that more of these videos are going to be Nico as the guide and sort of de-emphasizing Nico as the hero. But I'm a hero. And I know I'm a hero, just like you're a hero. I mean, these are just different roles that we play. They're different archetypes. And another tip I got today from a business coach that I follow on YouTube, Anthony Vicino, another great, highly recommended channel. He told me that I should consider making my titles more specific to my ideal client, because some of my titles were like videography without a videographer. I thought that was a clever title, and it was. It is a clever title. But is that calling out my ideal client, or could really anybody click on that? I don't want anybody to click on that. If someone clicks on my video and they're not my ideal client, it's kind of like a wasted view. It's like YouTube's like, this video is not that good. Where if it was my ideal client who knows, likes, and trusts me and sees the value in what I'm doing here, that view is like worth 100 times, right? That person might watch 5, 10, 20 minutes of this. It's very different. Not every view is equal, obviously. But anyway, I changed the titles. I'm going to move forward being even more specific. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to coaches and consultants, entrepreneurs really, but I think it's coaches and consultants that depend on that emotional connection with their clients. And coaches and consultants should be offering a high ticket transformation and the cinematic drama, the high production value of our visuals here, they're gonna help a client understand that your program is premium, is high ticket, and that's what we're doing here at Origin Story Media. All right, so just yesterday I made a video that talks about how you kill your credibility before you even turn on the camera based on this one choice alone. So go check out that video. I think it's right here. It's one of those short ones that'll just be practical and helpful for you.